Hello all. So, Friday Night Dinner.
The comedy that has swiped Britain's hearts for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and now 6 seasons.
So, why does everyone love it? Some people say because of the character Jim, and others say the theme of family is relatable and heartwarming. Those are contributors. These are contributors. But I think I've figured out the true reason of Britain craving
this beautiful beast of comedy.
Okay, let's start.
The Scarlet Show!
Here's an overview for the forgetful grannies out there. Friday Night Dinner is a British show in which two brothers return to their Jewish family home every Friday evening to have some dinner, and then some crumble, and that's it. Then they go back home. It sounds simple, but there are many
distractions, actions, and attractions
that swerve the plot off its wheels. And that's when things go wrong due to these people. That's where they pump all of the comedy in and make it a memorable mini masterpiece. God, that's a mouthful. It's very similar to The In-Betweeners, just with less gross out humour, less strong language, and none of the disturbing things Jay says. It's a good show to watch as a family if you have older children. Actually, no, why am I suggesting that? I'm literally 14 years old, I don't have children, and I've never watched Friday Night Dinner with my family. Anyway, you get what I mean. Friday Night Dinner is a diluted version of The In-Betweeners, but with slightly different themes and characters.
It's even got my boy Simon.
But sadly, he's grown up a bit. The reason why I enjoy Friday Night Dinner so much is because I know the actors well. Well, not personally, but I know Tamsin Greig from loads of stuff, including one episode from Inside Number 9, which is a great show. I know Paul Ritter from Curious Instant National Theatre thing, of which I have to write about for my GCSEs. I know Simon Bird from The In-Betweeners! I also know
Tom Rosenthal from
Plebs? No, that's so bad, I'm sorry. And not forgetting Mark Heap from Friday Night Dinner, because he's so good in that, he doesn't need to act in anything else, and he's basically a one-hit wonder. Also, the acting is very expressive and the pacing is realistic. Now, let's analyse their characters to see if that is the factor that makes the show so lovable. First of all, the characters are committed to their attributes, which is just wonderful. Jackie is organised, hygienic and tidy, exactly how the government want us to behave during quarantine. She can be a bit of a control freak and sensitive at times, but this is on purpose to contrast with Martin. Martin is great. He's the polar opposite to Jackie. He loves mess, he's unhygienic, and he doesn't care what people think. But he's a bit forgetful, which often causes him to ruin events Jackie has planned. Adam and Johnny aren't really independent characters. They're sort of a dynamic duo that depend on each other in order to create a comedic effect. But this isn't necessarily a downfall. The pranks they play on each other are funny and occasionally move the plot forward. Also, they both sound very childish whenever re-invited to their house. Like, very childish. Jim and his dog Wilson, or Milson, spoilers, often interrupt the plot, mostly for the better. Jim's character is what makes the show memorable. He's portrayed as being slightly mentally deranged, but it isn't mocked, it's more celebrated. It's entertaining to watch Jim interpret ideas in a different way, and his use of tone and pitch is comedy in itself. There are also some supporting characters. I won't delve into their traits so much, but there's Jackie's friend Val, who is constantly emotional, and there's the grandma, who's just hilarious. There are also occasional cast members who have connections with one of the main characters. They're often known actors who have a certain attribute that annoys everybody, which is very entertaining to watch. The characters are very developed, and it's funny to see how they react to certain situations now. The script is well written because of how developed the characters are. They have memorable phrases, and the show's runtime is short, so as long as you stick to the questioning, what would the character say next? And how would the character react? And add a few jokes, you've got a very good script. The writing is a massive contributor, But the attribute that everyone loves without realising, the thing that will keep this show going for many seasons is... I've talked about an overview, but not in great detail. The plot is what makes me watch an episode and afterwards think, that was great. The amount of subplots, layering, and correct pacing, the amount of ideas and concepts they shove into one episode that doesn't make it feel crammed, but instead chaotic and tense. It's genius! Let me zoom in on the frame of the plot and explain. The basis is usually Johnny and Adam arrive. Then, something unusual or new is introduced to become the focus, which could be an event, object, action, or person, e.g., a new caravan, or it's Jackie's birthday. Next, a side plot is introduced before or after Jim's arrival. Jim then arrives whilst they've been talking about the focus or side plot. Jim says or does something that will be introduced again later, sometimes to help the plot, and then they have dinner. Then, for the grand finale, each plot develops and overlaps to an overdramatic, ridiculous degree. And that's it. 20 minutes of your life beautifully wasted. Here's an example of this in Series 1, Episode 2, which is an old episode, but it's accurate to the plot basis. Also, in this episode, Jim appears later on, but you get the idea. First, Johnny and Adam arrive. Then Martin has health issues, which is the main focus. Then Adam's jingle for car insurance is something the family anticipates, which is a subplot. Then they have dinner, but afterwards, the plot really gets going. Johnny pranks Adam by texting him frequently, pretending to be their mum. Martin eggs on Adam to look for females on a dating site. Then the radio subplot is reintroduced. Then Jim wants to be sponsored by Jackie. Then Adam is upset by the failure of the jingle on the radio. Then Martin's health problems are exposed. And then Johnny accidentally sends a text to Jim that he meant to send to Adam. And then Jim confronts Jackie. And then Martin's health problems get reintroduced. But all of that happens in the space of 20 minutes. All tying together, each individual mini-plot merging to create a composition of glorious British comedy. And that's it. The plot is what makes Friday Night Dinner so good. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, but it took about 8 hours with 20 pages of notes, and I'm meant to be revising. So please subscribe. You don't even have to turn on the bell, just please. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye. La 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 la.